What's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo. Yes, it's just me today. Me, DPD. That is actually P is actually my middle name, and Paul. So there you go. So shout out to DDP. Hello, but I'm Dominic D'Angelo. This is Rumor and Innuendo. Boom! It's a Friday, and we are gonna do a little wrestling coverage. Believe it or not. I was gonna preview SmackDown, and I still am going to preview SmackDown because it is Friday, of course. But a lot of news to kind of cover in regards to what goes down, what went down. A little bit at the Tony Khan media call yesterday that I was a part of, and then the San Diego Comic-Con had some interesting stuff. We had a CM Punk interview with a friend of the show, Denise Salcedo, and then we also Drew McIntyre made a little bit of news too. So let's get to it. Well, shout out to some folks here. David Modge, haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you back in the mix here. Jake. Yes, if you guys weren't aware by this show, I accidentally hit live. I didn't, and then I hit the countdown, and then I went to hit live again, and then that ended the stream. So I had to restart the stream. So thanks everybody for joining in a second time. Come on in. The water's fine. And I listen, I'm really out of sorts today, though. I really am. I don't know why. I have my play tonight, and I'm very tired for some reason. Very tired. I did eat a cinnamon roll, so maybe the sugar is weighing me down, making me feel weird. I don't know. But I just feel out of sorts. But hey, pro wrestling is out of sorts, so let's get to it. Here we go. Oh yeah, Wrestling Old Head. Hey, thanks, man. Good to see you too. I am in singles action today. So let's preview a little bit of what's set to go down on SmackDown. Apparently, there's a tag team gauntlet happening tonight, guys. Now, this episode of SmackDown was previously taped last week. They're planning ahead because currently the SmackDown roster is in Japan. In Japan right now, doing a little bit of work over there. So they taped ahead. It's going to be an interesting few weeks in build to SummerSlam, considering the Olympics is on Raw on USA. So Raw is getting bumped to Sci-Fi, and then it's just like now this SmackDown is taped. So maybe I think the only SmackDown they're going to have is the go home. Yeah, that's it. That's the only really kind of build you're going to get to SummerSlam in a big time way, I guess. So. Here, let's preview the card a little bit, though. SmackDown preview. I know in the Tag Team Gauntlet, the Good Brothers are supposed to do that. What are they called now? Are they called something else than the Good Brothers? But obviously, the Gorillas of Destiny will be in there. We also have, the hot tag team of Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. Try to think of some names for that tag team. I heard a pretty good one already, courtesy of One True Sport Daily, Zach Haydorn and Ryan Droste. They came up with a good name. Either way, though, let's see what we got cooking here on SmackDown. It's not a whole lot, to be honest, though, guys. On tap for tonight, this is according to WrestlingHeadlines.com, by the way. LA Knight taking on Santos Escobar, Bailey and Michin versus Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton, and the tag team gauntlet match I just mentioned to determine the number one contenders for the tag team championship. There are spoilers. I will not spoil anything. I have not even seen the spoilers. I don't like spoilers. I don't like writing them. I also don't like reading them. So, got to think that Gorillas of Destiny would win this whole thing. Unless you're going to kind of punt the ball a little bit and give somebody else a team to go up against DIY and then have DIY beat them, and so it kind of heats them up a little bit more. Maybe that'll be in the game plan at some point. You could also see, how cool would it be seeing Good Brothers go up against Gorillas of Destiny? That's some history there, and you could have a lot of fun with that one too. Ooh, okay. Corbin and Cruz, Lone Wolf at the Apollo. Ooh, I like that. That's kind of like Werewolf in London almost. That ain't bad. LA Knight, yes, will be taking on Santos Escobar. Listen, I guess I'll take this moment, since this is a solo show, to kind of get on my soapbox about Santos Escobar. I love Santos Escobar. He's awesome. He's a great promo, great look, handsome looking dude. Good as a heel, good as a babyface. he's here to heat up LA Knight. And I just think there's a higher ceiling. I'm saying this right now. Boom. You guys clip this, put it on your socials, let people know. This is what I'm saying. Santos Escobar can be a bigger star than LA Knight. I'm saying it. Yeah, I am. Listen, I don't know if I got to say anything. Yes, I kind of did get to say this on Monday when we reviewed SmackDown. Logan Paul ate LA Knight's lunch big time in that promo exchange. LA Knight, like what Logan Paul said about LA Knight was basically the truth. He's The Rock. He's Stone Cold. He's not LA Knight. He's a carbon copy, and he's just there. So it's on LA Knight to make himself differentiate himself from The Rock, from Stone Cold. He's got a personality, I think, that's different than Stone Cold and The Rock. Like, I'd like to see more from him. He's got to change his whole game here. It's not going to work. This is plateauing. Now, I'm not going to lie. He got a huge reaction on SmackDown. He's still a star. That's no doubt about it. I don't think, though, it's got a shelf life. I think he needs to think of something before this trickles all the way down. And we've seen it. We've seen it go. The popularity, he is not as hot as an act as he was last year by any sorts of the imagination. And listen, this is like Glengarry Glen Ross. This is shark-infested waters. You got to survive in this thing to make it work. And LA Knight has he's got an uphill battle, and he's got to kind of make things happen for him. I see a lot more potential and a lot more opportunity with somebody like a Santos Escobar that you can really, really put your chips behind, whether that's as a heel or a baby face. I think they just got to start heating him up a little bit more. But listen, Logan Paul looked like a much bigger star on SmackDown. Wrestling star. I'm saying that right now. Sure, he's a bigger celebrity. He's all like that outside of it. But here, he fit the bill of a pro wrestling heel. LA Knight, good on the mic, but where are you going from here? You need to change your game a little bit. Make it your own. You're not making it your own. Logan Paul was right when he said, you are just trying to pattern yourself off the Rock. And then LA Knight tried to play it off on him, saying like, oh, yeah, like I haven't heard that one before. Well, there's a reason you heard that one before, because it's true. It's true. You have to you got to correct course on this. All right. This should be a wake up call. This is not, let's keep playing into this stuff. He played into everything. He talked about sticking things up where the sun don't shine and all that stuff. That's Rock stuff. That is Rock stuff. And you're just doing it. You have to change. Not totally sending them down the river and say there's no hope for them. But dude, you gotta make the adjustments. That's it. And look at me. I look like white trash right now with a mustache and all this stuff. So what do I gotta say? But I have an opinion, and that is my opinion. Santos Escobar can be a bigger star than LA Knight. You can bank on that. All right, so there's a little bit of that SmackDown preview. Tiffany Stratton will be teaming with Nia Jax to take on Bayley and Mishin. Should be a fun match, I think. This card is not big, or blow your hair back if I had hair. But it's still, you can make some intriguing stuff, I think. Keep it an entertaining show for the people that are tuning in. I don't know if it's necessarily going to rope people into watch. Ooh, I got to tune into SmackDown tonight, especially, if they're aware that it's taped, which the majority of the audience isn't. But I don't know. I think they can still supplement what they've done, whether that's with video packages or vignettes. You could still kind of make this feel somewhat special, I think, tonight. I don't think, how many weeks has it been where there hasn't been a lot advertised on the card, and then SmackDown delivered? Now, granted, this is a different circumstance because it's pre-taped, but still there could be some opportunity for that. Yeah, I'm with you, wrestling old head. Santos Escobar has all the potential. His current gimmick just isn't catching fire. He needs a change up so he's not compared to Del Rio. That's a good point. Yeah, I just, I liked him when he was part of the LWO and he was a good guy. I was like, I can't wait to see what they're doing with him. And then he turns heel, and I'm like, I don't know, but I'm okay with it because he's feuding with Ray, and then that's just gone and over with. It just didn't seem like a big deal, and now he's just kind of in purgatory in a little bit of ways. So, um, yes, I'll Jake Santos needs some big W's and maybe take someone out. Like if someone is injured, have Santos be the one who takes them out on TV, get some heat. That's a great point. Um, you know, make it feel like he's sick of this crap. He's got to make a statement, and this is his statement is by attacking somebody and laying somebody out, and make it a big name. Hey, make it LA Knight. All right. Let me see here. What do I want to talk about next? Yes, let's talk about the news that is the picture for today. Is if you saw it on YouTube, is Drew McIntyre. Wow, doing some heck of a beyond going above and beyond the call of a heel in what he's doing at the San Diego Comic-Con. Literally got a picture with Jack Perry, and what a caption. Yes, this is a real photo. Cry me a river is what it said. And holy smokes. Like what it was one thing when he mentioned Colt Cabana in his tweet towards Punk. But this is next level heel stuff. And very like from a fan perspective that's like in on everything that's going on, you have to be like, wow. And it did. It like blew up the internet, everything like that. It did. It's clever stuff. Heck, though, Drew McIntyre ended up deleting the tweet and the Instagram post because he put it on both his social accounts. So it's no longer up there, but it's up on the internet. So, it's there, but not under Drew McIntyre's name. It's interesting to think of what happened. Probably, I don't think it's probably a big deal. If I had to guess, I don't think Punk gave a shit necessarily. Pardon my French, but I think maybe it was just like maybe Triple H was just like, hey, yeah, you can't really do that. He's an AEW guy. Can you take that down potentially, please? I don't think it was a CM Punk thing. I think Punk gets it, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Drew is doing some great work. I'm saying it right now. He's the wrestler of the year right now. 2024 male wrestler of the year is Drew McIntyre. Right now, yeah, hands down he is 100%. You think of what he's done with an opponent that's been injured for the whole year, basically. Like he's been in feuds, obviously, but look at what he's been able to do just having himself a lot as the quote unquote dance partner. It's been very impressive. And a tip of the cap to Drew, man. Like Punk has been a good compliment to this all and a very proactive element to it because he's been on television still despite the injury. He's shown up. He's, furthered the angle, so to speak, and stuff like that. So yeah, Punk does get the tip of the cap, but dang, is Drew doing great stuff. Undoubtedly, it's going to be hard to top him. Wrestler of the year. And guys, I'm not saying from an in-ring standpoint, even though you could probably make an argument for Drew being a great wrestler for 2024, like in-ring. But dude, overall, all encompassing, he's got to be right now. I think he is the front runner, and he makes the product an added level of entertainment. So, yeah. What Drew McIntyre is doing is the definition of scorched earth. Great stuff. Well, I don't know if necessarily the definition. If it was scorched earth, there'd be no turning back. They're going forward with SummerSlam here and everything like that, but very much poking the bear. And I do not have any complaints about it, but it keeps things entertaining. You want to blur the lines in this day and age, and maybe the fact that he removed it kind of furthers that line. Oh, he did go too far. Ooh, Ooh. So maybe there is some of that. Maybe there's some more blurring lines that we're just not keeping in tune with, but fun stuff. Hey, speaking of CM Punk, he's been a part of those San Diego Comic-Con festivities, and Denise Salcedo was on site, as she usually is with the California gigs. She got an interview with CM Punk, and it's pretty. He had some good quotable quotes there, some potent potables. If you get the SNL Celebrity Jeopardy reference. So she asked him about his time in AEW, or it got referenced in some form or fashion, which prompted Punk to say who he liked working with a lot, and that was Darby Allin. He said, Darby Allin immediately comes to mind. Darby is a friend of mine. I don't like talking about myself in this regard because people sensationalize headlines and they make assumptions. Next thing you know, people in the basement are diagnosing with some sort of psychological disorder. I like to think that this was a special moment for Darby. Being a straight edge kid, being the one that kind of lured CM Punk back into the ring and getting my first match back after 6 or 7 years. That will always be my number one with a bullet, because I think Darby is a talented kid and I was happy to share the ring with him. I think we told a nice little story. You know, what a great way to introduce Punk back into the mix in that time. Like, you think Darby, a pillar of AEW, still is. We just saw that on Dynamite this past Blood and Guts and stuff. But great way to put Punk back into the mix. And yeah, it felt like a big deal on both ends for Darby and for him. And it's just a shame. Like, it was exciting where AEW was at that point in time, because you had him that same night. Adam Cole debuted, Bryan Danielson debuted. What a time for AEW, and what a change it's been since then. It's oh man, and like, this is a completely other thing, but due to the the Call of Duty thing with WWE and Cody getting introduced as like one of the characters you can use on there. Same with Rhea and same with Rey Mysterio. I happen to like Arn Anderson made a tweet from his account stating like, "Oh, Cody finally took my advice because Cody's showing holding the gun and the infamous Glock promo." I went back and watched that Glock promo. It just felt so different in regards to where AEW is at, the kind of tone that the show had, the kind of importance all this felt like, because Cody was feuding with Malachi Black, a guy we barely see on television now, who is still under contract with with AEW reportedly through 2025, or at least into 2025. So he's still going to be there, and it just doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't, and it speaks to the direction and decision making that goes behind the scenes in AEW. And I know there's two sides to every story, but hey, you're running a business here. You're trying to get your product over, no matter what AEW finagles when it comes to, and they're going to get a great TV deal. Tony Khan mentioned this on we're going to touch upon that here in just a couple seconds, but getting that great TV deal, and like, that's great. That's great for wrestling. That's great for AEW. I'm happy for AEW. I'm happy for Tony Khan. But it's also, no doubt about it, does TK consider, WWE still competition and wants to be to that level. And by their own Bedard, they are not, because of the decisions they made, how things were handled, and they feel lesser than. I will always say it had to, as awesome as it was seeing Cody return to WWE at WrestleMania 38, that felt like a gut punch to AEW that they never recovered from. And then you add on to the fact that CM Punk is gone now. You add on to the fact that Jade Cargill is gone now. The product just seems completely light years away from where it was. And That's on Tony Khan. It's it. I mean, like, you know, a lot of the stuff that he does is great in regards to thinking of people and helping out wrestlers, because he's changed the business. He changed the business for the better, but he can make it better still. This new television deal could be a great opportunity for him to boom, kind of hit the reset button, reestablish some stuff, tighten up the product, get the whole ship tightened up. There's a lot of things that he can do to make that happen. Hopefully it will be. Hopefully that will be like this kind of thing is like, hey, new lease on life. Let's make things happen. We'll have to wait and see on that. Andrew says about the ROH thing, how he's really happy and proud of the 2 years of owning ROH. There's been virtually nothing when it comes to ROH. If you go to ROH, it's been like, have you been working for the company? Because a lot of people don't see it's on the Honor Club. What is next for this? Robert mentioned on a previous episode how, I think it was him. Yeah. I produced too many shows. I think it was Robert though. Said how like it was Robert. He said developmental system and how you could give that incentive for Bryan Danielson to stick around for your company is make him almost the Shawn Michaels of ROH. It would be great. And it's a win-win for everybody. People get opportunity. Danielson gets to do something that he loves. He's in a good position that is complementary to what he could be doing in WWE, and even more so. There's plenty of opportunity here. Let's see if Tony Khan does it. Let's see if he makes the most out of this opportunity when it comes to a new television deal. And let's talk about that too. So during this media call, Tony Khan was asked, not by me, about no, I'm sorry, he wasn't asked. He brought this up on his own volition after something regarding the television rights, where Tony said, yeah, we've had good talks. Speaking with Warner Brother Discovery and all that stuff. He mentioned how they're still in the exclusive window with David Zaslav, and wants to keep pro wrestling on TNT and Turner. So big, making things work, greasing the palm, so to speak. So it's but then unprompted, he's like, oh, can I say something? And this is what he said, ladies and gentlemen. I had a major member of the wrestling media, not me, mentioned to me yesterday that WWE is telling people, and I don't know why WWE is telling people about our media rights deal. I don't really know if it's any of their business. I don't really understand why WPR calls people and talks about my business. WPR is telling people that the deal is done, and that the deal is done at the same level that it was going to be our previous deal. That's not the case. I don't know why WPR and why major wrestling media members, who are very credible and never lied to me, are, and I don't know why they're telling people that. It's none of their business. I think WPR really gets involved in a lot of things they shouldn't get involved in. And I can tell you that is very untrue. When we make a deal with AEW, it's going to be a great deal with a big increase over what we've been doing. We're in a really good position and doing great business despite what they're doing to us. Is that a good thing to put out there? Tony hasn't been afraid to say stuff like that, but in the past, whether it's to his detriment or not. And I don't know. Like if WWE, I guess, is doing that, maybe it's fine to say that. But also, it's like, I don't know. You're gonna get a great deal. I believe that. I believe the deal will be better than what they had. I don't see why not, especially now the NBA's gone. Boom. See ya. So they're off to Amazon. So, yeah, I think Tony, is it? I don't know. I guess it's like, will it matter in the grand scheme of things? And when we look back a year from now, 2 years from now, him saying this, is that going to be necessarily bad? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's a big deal. Tony's voicing his opinion, and it's on a media call. So it's like the audio wasn't available to everybody. So you read the quotes. I heard it though. I asked about the Von Erichs. That's what I asked about when I was on there. I was like, hey, love. I didn't say this, but I do love Marshall and Ross Von Erich and the Von Erichs in general, and asked what's their status. I didn't. I didn't get much of an answer. He's just said how much he liked working with them. I was hoping to see if he would say, "Hey, we signed them, and they should sign him." You want to make your. I said this on the One True Sport Pro Wrestling Hotline. If you guys want to subscribe, go to OneTrueSportTV.com. But I did say on the hotline that signing somebody like the Von Erichs and then having teams like FTR, the Lucha Brothers, House of Black, Acclaimed, the Young Bucks, trying to think of other ones. You name it, the Gun Club. Establish your tag team division before WWE does. Make your promotion the tag team promotion before WWE does. That makes you stand out. And you can do a lot with that. So make it happen. I think signing the Von Erichs as one of your ultimate babyface tag teams would be great stuff. Could you imagine? That you get Marshall and Ross real heated up, feel like big time, and FTR turns heel against them? Man, you could create a great rivalry like that both of those teams would enjoy a lot. Plus, you have Dustin Rhodes in the mix of that, all that stuff. Very cool. Beat WWE to the punch. Make your tag team division feel the most important tag team division there is. Like TNA has done their darndest throughout the years with the Knockouts division. You know, look at WWE's dipping into that with Jordan Grace. Like Knockouts division, they set the tone for women's wrestling for such a long time. Why AEW can differentiate themselves by really, really elevating that tag team division as much as possible. And you make that feel special. Even if you kind of, I said, make it an event, make it feel like something when it comes to, hey, this Dynamite, we're really going to do this big tag team situation. I'm not talking tournaments. I'm not talking like a tag team battle royal. I'm talking something where it's just like this. These are the 4 teams. And yeah, okay, have a little mini tournament, if you will. But it's like 4 teams. We are making this work with these 4 teams. They're going for the titles. Let's see what happens. Just make something feel like a big deal with the tag team division and make it a big sticking point for your promotion, for your product. Let's see what else I want to cover before we wrap things up here. Oh, I guess I should read. Hey, but so speaking of wrapping things up, you might need to wrap things up if you take a little Blue Chew. Oh my gosh, this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex, guys. Remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get the extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the US of A. Oh, hacksaw Jim Duggan, and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. All right. I'm not as good as Robert at that, but who is? Robert's the bee's knees when it comes to the Blue Chew promotion. Hey, speaking of promotions, we got another one in WWE, and Triple H is not promoting Bobby Lashley and MVP. He was asked about their contract status recently, and he had some words to say. Not a whole lot. He says, no, just like any other sport, any business, we sign talent. Talent contract runs out. We release talent. Just part of the process. So it's an ongoing thing. So, I mean, I guess it's a pretty clear indication that Bobby Lashley and MVP are gone. lots of different things, opportunities for them outside of WWE. Yeah, just really feels like a missed. It'll always be a man. What could have been if you kept the Hurt Business as hot as they were, because they were a hot act. They were a hot act, and they felt like a faction comparable to the Bloodline, especially when they were both in the thick of the action. And if they kept that momentum behind the Hurt Business, just like they did with Roman and the Usos and Paul Heyman, you have that other wheel turning. Man, you could have had two great factions that were akin to like DX and Nation of Domination, and given that level. Obviously, wrestling is not at that boom period it was in the Attitude Era, but it's still, you still make it feel like a big deal for the environment, the atmosphere, the ecoscape that you're in. And I think WWE missed the boat on that with the Hurt Business, and that'll always be like, oh man, dang it, I wanted to see more. I'm sure we'll get some sort of variation on it in some other form or fashion on some other promotion when it comes to that. Excited for both MVP and Bobby Lashley. MVP teased his wrestling boots, that he's going to get them back. He's dusting them off. So that's pretty cool. But guess what else is pretty cool? You guys tuning in here on Rumor and Innuendo every Monday through Friday. Be sure to check out Workin' Stiff. New Workin' Stiff dropped yesterday, a little bit early. The Robert and Scott had Tommy Blocka on, who was a former WWE writer right after Vince Russo. And great storyteller, has some wild stories when it comes to Vince McMahon and SNL and Lauren Michaels, when The Rock was first guest on there many moons ago. So be sure to check that out on Working Stiff. They'll also be doing a Patreon upcoming here soon. As far as I'm concerned, you can check me out with One of Kind with RVD. We did a live recording of the podcast last night at 9 p.m. We went 2.5 hours, covered some great ground. Man, we talked a lot of different topics, really focused on Mike Awesome, who Rob loved and who he wanted to work with a lot more. So we'd cover him a lot, talk about the end days of Bam Bam Bigelow and how unfortunate that was. And Rob talks about seeing Bam Bam in his later stages, kind of almost. We also somebody asked me about my dream match, who would be with RVD. If you know me, you know my guy is Scott Hall. So I said how great it would be to have him and Scott had a match. If they ever had a match, that would have been cool. And Rob talks about that a little bit. So tune into that. As far as Straight Talk with the Boss, Magnum TA, Greg Gagne, I'll be dropping a special episode. It's Greg Gagne and Barbara Goodish, wife of Bruiser Brody, the late Bruiser Brody. My degenerate brother Marcus interviews both of them for One True Sport. So you can check that out. It was during the Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa. And so that'll be a special episode. Plus, there's another one coming too. I'll tell you, it's with Tito Santana. So there's another view with Tito Santana. Well, I think I'll drop those in separate episodes. So be on the lookout for that on the FourHorsemenNetwork.com. Cool stuff coming there. Hey, if you're in Pittsburgh tonight or this weekend, you can see me in a play. I'm in Sherlock Holmes, The Final Adventure, The King of Bohemia. My final set of performances. If you're interested in going, shoot me a DM on X, message me on Twitter or Instagram, wherever you follow me at. And I'll hook you up with the link to get the tickets and stuff. It's a cool little play. Had fun. Haven't done a play in 10 years. This is why I have that facial hair. So cool. On behalf of Robert, who's not here, good luck in your future endeavors. Happy weekend. Get a picture with somebody that your enemies don't like.